The abuse hurt deeply, but honestly, what shattered me the most was realizing my own sisters believed him instead of me.
Welcome back to God Showed Up Stories. Tonight's story is for anyone who has experienced betrayal from the very people they thought would always protect them. The people who survived emotional pain, only to feel abandoned afterward by family, friends, or loved ones who chose comfort, denial, or appearances over truth. Some betrayals cut deeper because they come from people you trusted your entire life. And if you've ever thought, how could the people who know me best turn against me? This story is for you. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who may need encouragement tonight. And comment below. Have you ever had to heal from betrayal by family? Never forget this. Sometimes God reveals who truly belongs in your life by exposing who disappears when you need love the most. All right, let's get into tonight's story.
When I finally left my husband, I honestly believed the hardest part would be surviving the relationship itself. I was wrong. The hardest part came afterward, because after years of emotional abuse, manipulation, and constant walking on eggshells, I expected my family to understand, especially my sisters. We grew up together, shared secrets, shared childhood memories, shared pain. I thought no matter what happened in life, they would always believe me. But slowly, I started realizing something painful. They were choosing him. At first, it happened subtly. One sister stopped answering my calls as often. Another kept telling me, well, relationships are complicated. Then eventually I heard things that completely shattered me emotionally. He said you were difficult to live with. He said you exaggerated things. He's hurting too. I remember sitting there in complete disbelief, hearing those words. Because after everything I survived, the people who were supposed to protect me were questioning whether I was even telling the truth. That kind of betrayal changes you emotionally. Not because strangers doubted me, but because my sisters did. The women who watched me cry growing up. The women who knew my heart. The women who knew how deeply I loved my family. And honestly, I started questioning myself too. That's what emotional abuse often does. It confuses you. Even after leaving, you still hear the manipulation echoing in your mind. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe I should have stayed. Maybe I ruined the family. The loneliness after the divorce became overwhelming. I lost more than a marriage. I lost the version of family I thought I had. Holidays became awkward. Phone calls became uncomfortable. Some relatives quietly avoided getting involved entirely. And deep down, I felt humiliated. Because it's one thing to survive abuse. It's another thing entirely to feel abandoned afterward by the people you thought would stand beside you. I remember one evening sitting alone in my apartment, staring at old family photos while tears rolled down my face. And for the first time in my life, I asked God something painful. Why would you let the people closest to me turn against me too? There wasn't some dramatic answer, just silence. But over time, that silence slowly became clarity. Around that season, I began attending a small support group through a local church, community center. At first, I barely spoke. I didn't trust people anymore. But slowly, I started hearing stories from other women who experienced similar betrayals after leaving abusive relationships. And honestly, that realization changed something inside me. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't weak. And I wasn't alone. One older woman in the group told me something that stayed with me deeply. Some people side with abusers because facing the truth makes them uncomfortable. That sentence hit me emotionally, because I realized my sisters weren't necessarily choosing truth. They were choosing familiarity, comfort, denial. Accepting the reality of what happened would have forced them to confront painful things they didn't want to see. That realization didn't erase the pain, but it helped me stop blaming myself. Over the following months, God slowly started rebuilding my life differently. Not through dramatic revenge, not through proving myself, but through healing, peace, boundaries, safe people, I started learning that family is not only defined by blood. Sometimes family becomes the people who protect your peace, believe your pain, and help you heal without making you beg for compassion. Slowly, I found emotionally safe friendships. I rebuilt confidence that abuse had destroyed. I laughed again without fear. I slept peacefully again. And most importantly, I stopped chasing validation from people determined to misunderstand me. That part took time, because when family rejects you emotionally, part of you keeps hoping they'll finally wake up and apologize. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But eventually, God taught me something life-changing. Healing begins the moment you stop abandoning yourself trying to earn love from people unwilling to protect your heart. And honestly, that changed everything. Years later, one of my sisters eventually reached out quietly after finally seeing parts of the truth for herself. But by then, I had already changed emotionally. Not bitter, just wiser, stronger, more protective of my peace. And maybe someone watching tonight needs to hear this too. If people abandoned you after you survived something painful, if family chose sides against you, if you feel emotionally isolated because others believed the wrong person, please remember this. Their inability to see your pain does not erase your truth, and God can still rebuild your life even after betrayal breaks your heart. Sometimes healing begins when God removes the illusion of who was truly safe in your life. And one day you may look back and realize, God didn't abandon you during the betrayal. He was protecting you while teaching you who truly deserved access to your heart.
If this story touched your heart today, comment below. God is healing my heart. And if you've experienced betrayal from people you trusted deeply, please remember this. You are not weak for protecting your peace. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who may need encouragement tonight. Thank you for spending this time with God Showed Up Stories. And always remember, God always shows up right on time.